These days, it's cool to call yourself an entrepreneur, but the real entrepreneurs strive for continuous improvement, innovation, and willing to take risks of detrimental proportions. Join me as we meet the people that are making this happen. One by one, they are sharing the story of their journey as an American entrepreneur. Sometime in the late 1950s, skateboarding emerged in Southern California as sidewalk surfing. It was invented as a way for surfers to practice their skills on land. Soon, these small wooden boards began to be used for short distance travel versus walking. Then, someone got the cool idea to skate in emptied out swimming pools, pulling off cool tricks. And that's when it really all began. Skateboarding has become so much more than a sport. It's a culture and a lifestyle. Today, we're going to meet the owner of the oldest skateboard shop in Dallas, Texas. He's going to share his story of his journey as an American entrepreneur. So come on and join me. I think you'll really enjoy his story. So Ben, how's it going?
Hey, what's going on? My name is Ben. This is my shop, Rec Shop, skate shop here in Dallas. It's been open since 2004. Come in and check it out. Let me show you what we got going on. So over here, we got some accessories. We got trucks, different size trucks for regular boards and long boards. Got some longboard wheels, skate rails. Right over here, we got your different wheels, bearings, all your different accessories, wax for curbs, patches, stickers. Got a little bit of everything, some sunglasses, some more longboard wheels, some other knickknacks for all your skate goods.
See all these helmets up here. Kind of cool looking helmets.
We got some helmets. And then behind you here, we got the different pad sets and wrist guards for everybody to keep it safe.
All right. How long have you been in this location?
Been here for 8 years, and I was down on Lower Greenville for 10 years before this. The longest running skate shop in DFW.
You're doing something right.
Yeah. So right here we got a selection of old school skateboards. These are going to be the bigger, wider decks like they were in the 80s. A lot of people use them just to cruise now or to ride some bowls, some bigger ramp skating, or just for nostalgia. A lot of people get these and hang them on the wall. These are the boards they had when they were a kid, so a lot of people grab them for some stuff like that. That's our old school selection right here. And over here along the wall, we got your regular skateboards, popsicle shape, whatever you want to call it. These are the newer style boards that everybody's riding these days, trick boards. Got a good selection of those over here and along the ground, right here along the wall.
So I guess if somebody wants one of these popsicle skateboards, they just pretty much look at the graphic. They choose by graphic, right?
Pick your graphic or your brand or your skater that you want. You can pick out a board and build it. It starts maybe around 120 bucks, and you can go well over 200 bucks, just depending on what you put on it. And then right behind you here, we've got some completes ready to go. These are like perfect beginner boards. These start around 100 bucks, complete, ready to go. They're pro model boards. It's not like a board you get at Walmart or anything like that. Those are toys. These are real professional skateboards. 100 bucks, perfect starting point.
You can upgrade them to a lot nicer board.
You get them right now, and just perfect to start out with.
So I guess upgrading them would be a higher end truck and wheels, I guess?
Yeah, some better bearings. You know, you can just do it piece by piece as you progress with your skateboarding. And then right here we've got some cruiser boards. So this is like a little smaller, wider board. It's got a big soft wheel on it. These are good for transportation, just really for cruising around, having fun. Not so much for tricks, but just cruising. That's a cruiser board, and then let me show you right over here, we got some longboards. Longboards right here, these are really just for cruising. They got an even bigger wheel, big wide wheelbase, longboard. These are just for cruising around, having fun, good for distance riding or fast or parking garage or however you want to do it.
No tricks,
no tricks,
though, right?
Just cruising, hard cruising, serious cruising. And I've got some t-shirts, some socks up here. We've got the Triple D hats here. We're the official shop carrying Triple D stuff here in Dallas. This is the real Triple D brand. Real popular stuff right there.
And I see no skateboarding allowed here. That's cool.
No skateboarding allowed. Right over here we got some t-shirts, a couple pairs of jeans, some socks, just some basic soft goods for your skateboarding needs. And then back here along this wall, we've got all the high-end graffiti spray paint. This is going to be this high-end paint that you use for graffiti murals. Not so much the street tag and stuff, this a little more expensive, high-end spray paint, sprays different, designed for art. And that's what all this is here. We've got several different brands. I'll show you right over here. So we've got the AA paint, we've got the Montana Black Line, we've got the Montana 94, Montana Gold, and then the Montana Tall Cans.
I have a feeling these are probably better spray paint than Krylon, right?
Yeah. So these are high-end paints. This is designed for art. This isn't like your typical hardware paint. This stuff, it sprays better, the pigment's better, everything about it is better. And then also right over here in our case, we've got the higher-end markers for art. We've got markers and mops, some mini spray cans, some more goodies in there for your art needs. And then let me show you right over here behind me. We've got all the different spray caps. So there's spray caps for all your different cans that'll spray in all different ways. There's a chart right here that'll kind of show you how the nozzles all spray different.
Well, I gotta show this mural over here in your wall here. This is really cool. I like that.
Got a mural right here. It's done by one of the local homies, Joe Skills. He hit up the wall for us. This is just to show you an example of the kind of paint we sell and the kind of stuff it's used for. Got a little bit of art back against the back wall too.
All right, Ben, introduce yourself. Tell us about this cool business you
So
got.
my name is Ben. This is my skate shop / graffiti shop. I opened in 2004. Just a little dream I had. I was into skateboarding, and I was also into DJing. I used to carry vinyl, DJ vinyl, back when I first opened. Just two things I was into. Decided to open a little business, trying to do it just on the side to make a little money, have a little fun. And then I had some buddies that were big time into graffiti art, and they're like, yo, you got to carry this paint. There's a special paint we can't get anywhere. You got to carry this. So I picked up graffiti supplies, specifically Montana paint is what got me into it, and just started a business from there. You know, it was just a little niche of stuff I was into just to try to do as a hobby, start a little side business. Didn't really plan much of it, but, you know, just something, make a few bucks, hopefully, and break even and have some fun with my buddies.
Well, who inspired you to start a business in the first place?
Just myself, you know, just a thought that I had, you know, working just a regular job as a young guy in my early 20s, and just had a little dream to start a little business. And it's something that kicked off.
So you were a passionate skateboarder, I guess,
Yep.
right? And you just, so you knew when you were thinking about opening up a business, it's going to be a skateboard shop.
Yeah, always wanted to open a skateboard shop. Just had a small dream, as most skaters probably do. They love to have a little shop. So I had a little bit of money saved up. Like I said, I was young, not very much money. Started very small, minimal stuff. Started with like 10 skateboards, 10 sets of trucks, 10 sets of wheels. Just tried to open a little something just to have something to do and have a little shop.
Well, did you start off in a commercial space? Tell us about how exactly you started and where you started.
I originally started off in a flea market, Vicon Village, in the edge of Dallas right in Garland. I was there for only 2 months. I rented a space in a little flea market. It was just open on the weekends.
How big of a space was it?
I don't know, probably
10 by 12 or something?
Yeah, something like that. Just a real small spot. Actually, the biggest spot they offered, which was still pretty small. But that's how I started. I had 2 months in a flea market, and then I found a spot available, like a 200 to 300 square foot spot available for lease down on Lower Greenville Avenue. And I jumped out of that flea market as quick as I could.
When you were in the flea market, though, was that just nights and weekends, or was that
Just
full time?
I think it was Thursday, Friday, maybe it was just Friday, Saturday, Sunday during the day, like, you know, open for 10 hours during the day. And it wasn't my market. It was just somewhere to get started. It was a dream that we had with a little bit of money.
You started this with someone else, am I correct?
I had
at
my
very
roommate.
first?
Yeah, my roommate in the very beginning was into it. He was into it for several years, but not as involved as I was. But he helped me. You know, we got together. I had an idea. He threw a little bit of money that he had. We started with $5,800. I had $5,000 saved up. He had $800. We pooled our money together as two young guys and just shot for the moon. Like I said, it was never anything that we planned to be a real business, just a little side hustle we wanted to do. Try to sell some skateboards in a flea market. It was just a little quick idea. And then we found a real spot, real storefront, very tiny, very small. We were there for probably under a year, and then the place next door to it opened up, which was twice the size. And we moved from the real small spot to still a small spot.
What were you doing before you opened skateboard shop?
I was doing valet parking.
Really?
Yeah. Still did
Okay.
continue to do valet parking even after I opened my business. I did
Because that's
valet
evenings,
parking.
I guess nights and
Yeah,
evenings.
it was opposite hours, When you open a business, don't plan to make money right off the bat. Expect to work another job. Don't think you're just going to open up and it's going to be like, this is going to pay all my bills and this and that. You got to open thinking like, try to break even. That's your whole goal. At least that was my mindset. Nobody told me, nobody explained to me how to open a business, but that was my mindset. If we can just pay the rent and keep the lights on, I'm happy. It was just a side gig for us, just something fun to do during the day.
Well, you're the longest running open skateboard shop in all of Dallas.
That's right.
Am I correct?
Yeah, I've been open since 2004. Oldest skate shop in DFW, probably in most cities. Haven't had skate shops this long. From what I understand, like the lifespan of a skate shop is around 3 to 4 years, and then that's it. A lot of shops get in, not just in skate, but in any kind of business, they get in over their head with a big lease, and they don't expect the ups and downs, and that'll sink a business. If you keep your overhead low.
How did you survive this? What are some of the tactics you used to survive this?
Low overhead, not planning for it to be my full-time gig, even though, it can be a full-time job, but not depending on it to pay my mortgage or my rent or whatever, my car payment, I have another job for that where I knew I was taking care of my main business. And then, the shop itself in the beginning was just, something for fun. It wasn't to make money. It was something for me and all my friends to have a place to buy our boards and records and graffiti supplies. It was just me supplying a demand.
Right. So as far as the skateboards, I know that doesn't it have periods of when it's really popular and then it kind of drops off?
It
popular
does.
and drops off.
Yeah.
So how did you survive when it dropped off? I guess, like you said, just low overhead.
Just keep your overhead low and don't shoot for the moon. Don't try to overdo everything. Don't try to spend too much. Don't think if I have this super nice spot, I'm going to spend all this money, more people are going to come. That's not the way it works in this industry.
Right. I see some of these skateboard shops in these nice strip malls, whatever, big 3,000 square foot.
Yeah.
So I guess you got to avoid that.
It can get you in over your head whenever the market, the market for skateboarding always goes like that. Mm-hmm. So whenever it lulls out a little bit, you got to be prepared. If you're in over your head, it can sink you.
As far as the graffiti supplies, tell us a little bit about that, because you've got a huge inventory of these paints.
So I sell like the high-end mural paint for graffiti art, not so much the street tagging stuff. This is the high-end, expensive stuff. Designed for art, designed to last outside in the sun, comes in hundreds of different colors. Spray's nicer, we got all the different nozzles. It's designed for the art aspect of graffiti, not so much the street tagging.
So you have a lot of professional artists come here, and this is where they buy their...
We get a lot of people who do it for a living, paint murals, all the stuff you see all around town on the sides of businesses and Deep Ellum and stuff like that. On the side of giant apartment buildings now, you see murals. A lot of that paint comes from here. I supply to almost everybody in town. I'm the main shop that has all these paints.
When you first opened your skateboard shop, you did mention you did have this paint.
Yep.
How did you come up with that idea? Because what I think is so cool is you didn't put yourself in a real tiny pigeonhole. I mean, you've got two pretty popular, I would think, products. And the culture of skateboarding and paint really comes together.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit.
Graffiti and skateboarding do kind of be side by side, along with the hip hop aspect and music and all that. So when I opened, I had records, had skateboards, and I had graffiti. Three things that really do go together. And it just kind of was a perfect melting pot. Nothing planned out. It was just I had friends who were into graffiti who told me like, hey, you got to get this stuff. We can't get it anywhere in Dallas. We have to order it. You got to carry this. So I carried it. I wasn't that big into graffiti. I had a lot of friends who were big into graffiti, but me personally, I was a skater. But I figured if my boys need it, I'm going to get it for them.
Right. What are some of the things that maybe caught you by surprise about this industry that you didn't know until after you started it?
As far as the graffiti stuff, I didn't realize it was big as it was. Like I said, I had friends that were into graffiti, but I wasn't really into graffiti. But it opened the world of graffiti even more to me. I saw how big it was and how much people were into it.
Do you have an online presence for sales? Or is it just pretty much they come in your shop?
I don't really do any online sales. The online sales stuff is tough with this industry as far as skateboarding and paint. Usually when people need something like this, you need a skateboard, you need it now, you need it today. You can't order it and wait. I need to go skate. I just broke my board. I got to go skate. Something you don't really order online. You can order online, maybe save a couple bucks, but when it comes down to it, it's not worth it. You need it now. Same thing as far as the paint. You can order it online. It takes 5 days to get it. When you get it, the shades aren't the same that you want. It's nothing like holding it in your hand and actually seeing it.
Right. Well, as far as seasonality, does the skateboards drop off a little bit maybe during the winter, or is it maybe even more in the winter because in the summer it's so damn hot you can't go outside?
The summer really has an effect on skateboarding-ish. Not full on, but it does slow it down some when it gets 110 here.
Right, no one
It
wants
makes
to go
it tough.
outside.
Well, people still skate. They skate in the morning, skate at night, but during the day it kind of drops off. So kind of limits your hours on skateboarding.
Now I think the age group is probably elementary, junior high. Tell us a little bit about the demographics.
The demographic of, starting out is usually the younger guys, elementary, junior high, high school. Those are the guys that get into it. But there's also a big group of people who are in their 30s, 40s, and even 50s who are still skating, still come through, support.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. While I was setting up, I saw some guys that looked like they were in their 30s or 40s coming in here, and I was really impressed by that.
Yeah.
It seems like you might just never do it again, but it's great to see some people that still know how to have fun, even though they're in their 30s or 40s.
With skateboarding, it drops off, it seems like, for a lot of people. Once you get older, get a car, teenagers, get out of high school, it kind of drops off. You find girls and stuff and kind of lose it. But then a lot of people I see come back and get into it. They don't skate for 10 years and then feel like, you know what, I miss skateboarding. Got to get back into it.
Are there a lot of really cool skateboard areas or parks around here in Dallas? Tell us a little bit about that.
So there's a few parks here in Dallas. There's one public park. It's not the greatest. St. Francis Skate Park, St. Franny down the street. That's a good little city skate park, I guess. It's what we got. Then right at downtown, we've got Four Down. Mike Crum over at Four Down. He's got a big, beautiful complex for everything you need. And then all the suburbs around Dallas seem to have public skate parks, really nice ones. Garland has one opening up here in the next couple months. Nice big concrete skate parks.
What about, I noticed that while I was setting up, and I asked you about it actually before we started recording, I said, we got to cover this, but you don't take credit cards.
Yeah, that's something.
Tell us a little bit about what you take and why, and how did that come about?
So as far as me ditching the credit card machine is something not everybody's doing yet, but I'm telling you it's the wave of the future. As a small business owner, those credit card companies, they take a lot of your money, 3%. On top of other fees, right, and monthly fees and processing fees.
Adds up in a period of a month.
They get your money. Yeah, you don't realize it, but when you look at your statement every month, you're like, man, I paid a lot of money to these guys for what? Well, our credit card machine had broke. Long story short, we went through a period without having a credit card machine. We realized everybody these days has digital pay. Everybody can pay with their phone just about. PayPal, Venmo, Zelle, Cash App. So with our credit card machine down, we figured that out, and we just ditched the credit card machine completely, and we're saving thousands every year.
And you didn't even have to do anything different. No. You didn't have to work harder or work longer hours? We
printed out some QR codes from every app that you can just scan with your phone and pay. Put that right next to the register, and it's as simple as that. It's one thing that I think business is going to move towards. They're going to try to find a way to get their money, the credit card machines. But as of now, they're not getting it from us.
Right. I guess when everyone gravitates, like you said, they'll start doing the fees as well. I guess this industry's been around for so long. I guess if anything, it's going to go up or get more popular given the rise of the Olympics. Have you seen an uptick in sales since the Olympics, or it hadn't changed any?
I didn't really notice much from the Olympics. It didn't have that much. What had a big effect here on our industry, along with the bicycle industry, was just whenever everything shut down and people were having to force to do stuff outside, the skateboard and bicycle stuff really boomed. That was like a major rise in our industry. Yeah, the pandemic had a huge effect. Like, we couldn't keep product on the shelf.
So tell us a little bit about how you do marketing for this business.
Marketing, it's weird with the skate shop.
They either into it, they look you up, or
you don't have to do a whole lot of marketing. It's kind of word of mouth. People seeing you at the skate park, people seeing people with your shirts on, stuff like that. As far as like advertising, it's a pretty niche industry. Like, where a skate shop is. You look up where a skate shop is. You don't have to announce it. Hey, we're a skate shop.
Right.
People are looking for you.
So it's, location doesn't really matter anymore.
Location's not as hard. These days, if you're going to buy a skateboard, you Google skate shop, pulls up, that's where you're going.
Right. And of course, you being around so long, I guess you've got a big following. I guess people know where to go. They know you. I read some of your reviews. You got some really impressive reviews, Ben. So that says a lot right there.
Been around a long time, from when I've started in 2004 till now. I'll see kids that were 5 years old coming in for the first time, and now they come in and they're 20 years old.
That's really cool.
And they're getting their kid into skateboarding. And, they're growing up and they have a kid. It all freaks me out, I get kids who I haven't seen in 10 years, like, you remember me? I was like, oh man, you were a kid, now you're fully grown. And
That's got to be the coolest thing.
it's crazy. You know, they remember buying their first skateboard from me. They remember their mom bringing them in. All that. I've been around long enough that I hear those stories, and
That is so cool.
it makes me feel old.
Well, as far as these skateboards, I guess, how long do they last? I know they'll snap or break if you're hard on them, but what's kind of a general lifespan on them? Just how hard you ride them?
It depends on how hard you skate. Some people can snap a deck in one day, and some people it'll last them 6 months. It just depends on.
Well, that's more business for you, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Well, as far as the price ranges, what kind of price ranges do you have as far as like a starting skateboard versus a really top-notch high-end skateboard?
So we got complete skateboards starting at $99, ready to ride, pro quality board, not like a Walmart or Amazon toy skateboard that you would get. Pro quality decks, $99, perfect for starting out. And then if you pick out a board and piece it together piece by piece, it gets more expensive. On the low end, you could probably do it for about $120, and you can also go well over $200, just depending on what you put on it.
Okay. So do you make any boards or anything yourself, or any decks, or everything is, you buy wholesale?
We don't make anything in-house. We buy our decks from different companies. We have our shop decks. We have blank decks, but we don't actually make anything here.
Have you ever had any other locations, or you've always had one location?
I've always had one shop. I've had it in different locations. Like I said, I started in the flea market, moved to Lower Greenville. I was down there for 10 years. Somebody bought our building. Lower Greenville changed. Luckily, we got out of there. We're over here, Gaston, Garland, and East Grand. It's been a great location for us. Been here 8 years.
Okay, 8 years.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool, so people know where to find you. As far as business overall in general, not necessarily this industry, but just what kind of advice would you give someone that's starting a business?
It's tough, man. You just got to bite the bullet and take that chance. A lot of people sit around and think about starting a business, but never do it just because you got to have guts. It's what it is. Like I said, when I did it, I didn't plan for it to really be around this long. Something that just kind of started as a side hobby for fun. Didn't really have a long plan for it, but
you just did it and learned why you were doing it. Because so many people think they've got to have all their accounting set up and all the licenses and bank accounts set up, and they don't realize a lot of times people just jump out and do it.
Yeah.
And they get their licenses and all as they're learning about it. I don't recommend that, but
no, probably not the best way to do it. But the way I did it, no business advice help, no nothing. Just jumped in, got it going, didn't plan for much, and just kind of went with it as it came. Learned along the way. One of the biggest things I learned is try to keep your overhead low as possible. Because when your business goes down, you got to be able to survive. So keep your overhead low, and you got to be there. That's another thing too. A lot of people open businesses and they're not there. They hire people to be there. They're never around. That's not a good look. It's not going to be good for your business in the long run. You can be there and be the face of your business. Really helps a lot. People will come back to see you.
Do you have, or have you ever had any mentors?
Never really had any. Not as far as business goes. No.
Really?
Yeah.
You always just learned on your own.
Just learned it on my own. Nobody showed me anything. Just kind of
that's unusual because so many people will at least have someone they can go to and say, hey, look, what's your ideas about this or this? But you just pretty much learned on your own.
Just jumped in and learned. When I started in 2004, as far as the internet stuff, it wasn't as big. There wasn't like videos online on how to do all this and that. I don't even know if YouTube was up yet.
No, I think they started in 2007.
Yeah, so there wasn't there. There wasn't where I could just go and look and be like, oh, here's a tutorial on this. There was none of that. I had to figure out. I couldn't even figure out how to get a business license. There wasn't the internet like it is today. I had to just go downtown and ask questions and figure stuff out. It was a different time.
When you were talking to friends and family about opening up this business, what kind of comments, what kind of things were they telling you? You're crazy, or are you going to do what? Or they all get a lot of good support? I
wouldn't say I got any financial support, right. But I got support. People figure like, oh yeah, if anybody's going to open a skate shop, it's going to be Ben. Did they have any long-term thoughts about it? Not really. I didn't myself. Just something I was going to do. I was going to take the $5,000 life savings that I had and try to do something with that. That was it. That was all I had. It was. But I wasn't married yet. I didn't have any kids yet. Just a young guy with $5,000 that I saved up. Figured, hey, let's have some fun with this.
Well, that is really cool. I love your story. As far as too, when you got started, was the skateboarding at that time really big at its peak, or was it just something that was maybe even keel and you just thought, I'm starting this business?
When I got into it, it was at a peak. I didn't know it was. I didn't realize it was at a peak when I got into it, but it was. The time
really popular.
Early 2000s, Jackass was real popular. Bam Margera was real popular.
Right.
Stuff like that. Stuff that I didn't really care to sport as far as hardogram skateboards and stuff like that, but that was real popular at the time. It was getting kids into skating. I didn't realize it when I jumped in, but it was an uptick of skateboarding.
I'm seeing on the internet too, there's some guys that have mobile skateboard shops.
Yeah.
What is your view on that?
You know, I actually tried a mobile skateboard shop for a little bit. I had a little mini school bus, and we would travel around and go to different skate parks and try to sell stuff out of the bus. And not so much, didn't hit so much. We did all right, but it wasn't really worth it in the long run.
Right. I guess by the time you load everything up, the sales are just not that big to make it worth it. So,
people show up at the skate park ready to skate. They're not there to shop.
Right.
You learn that the hard way.
So how long did you do this?
Probably did it for 6 months or so.
And you just sold the little...
Just on the weekends. On the weekends, I'll have one of my buddies take our bus and go around to the skate parks and set up in different places, try and do the mobile skate park thing. But like I said, when people show up to the skate park, they've got what they need.
So how much did you pay for that, or would you just tell us?
I think I bought the bus for $2,500.
What'd you sell it for?
$2,500.
That's great.
It was a break-even process, except I replaced the transmission in it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
part of business.
Right. Yeah, they probably knew it was going out. That's why they sold it to you for $2,500. Do you have any pictures of that?
Somewhere.
I think I saw something on the internet.
You can probably find one online. Yeah.
Because that's why
find one and put it up right here, right now.
Right. I'll try to find one. So, anything else? Maybe any other piece of advice you could give anyone about skateboard business in general? I guess you already mentioned, just keep your overhead really low. Don't open up a big store. How many square feet is this approximately?
So I think we're right under 1,000 square feet here right now. I don't think I need much more. Use a little bit bigger, but you don't need a lot unless you're going to do something like put a ramp or something inside your store.
Have you ever thought about doing that?
Not inside. I tried to do it outside. The landlord wasn't.
In the back, I guess, back over here?
Yeah, landlord wasn't with it.
Yeah, well, that's not cool. But I guess, too, though, he's looking at liability.
It's his property, his liability.
That. Yeah. Well, Ben, I really appreciate you sharing your story, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thanks for coming by. I'm glad to share my thoughts with you.
All right, so I couldn't think of any more questions, man. A few takeaways Ben provided is the fact that he just went out and started his business. He didn't suffer from analysis paralysis. Now, I wouldn't recommend just jumping out starting one, but sometimes you just got to make it happen, and that's what Ben did. And also, I love his ingenuity when he found out that he didn't have to put up with the excessive credit card fees these banks charge. So, you can use all of those other apps. I hope this video added value and you enjoyed it. I'm Curtis Mohlberg. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see you next time.